Hello, my fellow comic book collectors. Today's going to be a really great interview. This is a man who actually I almost collaborated with. We were trying to work out the details. We were trying to do something together, maybe a hot list or something cool, and it just never happened. Like no fault of his, no fault of mine. Well, probably my fault, but um, but, but it just never happened. So I ended up this was way back when I actually started teaming up with Mark Oldroyd. So I've known this guy for a while. He produces really great content on his website. You got to on his YouTube channel, I should say, and it's just amazing stuff. So he goes through the hot list and he kind of gives his feedback about whether or not they're good specs or whether you should be buying these books or whether he would buy the books. It's just really great stuff. I really want to give a warm welcome to Mighty Comics. There we go. And Collectibles.
Thank you for having me, bud. I appreciate it, Alan.
Okay. So yeah, I got to ask the same questions that I ask everybody. But how did you get into collecting comics?
I've been like collecting comics since I was a kid. So like that's really when I started. And of course, my love of Marvel and of course Batman really kind of got me going. When I was a kid, I've told this story before, but like my dad used to own a few pharmacies, so he would always get comics in, like, and a lot of them were newsstands, by the way, which you won't even get to. But like, I didn't know what the hell that was back then. But I would always
Mm-hmm.
like go into the store and pick out comics that I like for characters that I followed, and that's how I did it. I would get like new weekly books and every couple of weeks, and I just kind of kept up with it. Then, of course, like everybody else, life happens. You get older, you stop collecting
Mm-hmm.
comics. Went to college, came back, and then maybe right before the MCU started, I started collecting again. And then, if
Den?
just again, I started
Oh,
doing it
Den.
again. Yeah.
I was thinking
And then
there's a
I
comic called Den. That's why I totally misheard
and,
that.
and then it just like I stopped again because I started doing other things. And then maybe about 5 years ago, I got back into it. And then I got back into it hard. So I started picking up big keys and stuff like that. So it's a whole life thing, but recently about 5 years.
Okay. Yeah, I think a lot of people, for some reason, I hear that a lot. Like even myself, I got back into it hard about 5 years ago. It just seems like that was something about the world, like maybe the MCU or something was just energizing people to get back into comics.
I think
Um,
exactly what you just said. I think it was the MCU really starting to take off. Like we got a couple of the early Avengers stuff where people like, but then they started to tie everything together. And then once they started to tie everything together, I think that's what brought me back and a bunch of other people.
did you did you ever were you the victim of your mom throwing away your original comics, or do you have your original comics from when you were a
I
kid?
I had most of my original comics from when I was a kid. However, over the past 5 years, I've just kind of sold off a lot of books that I didn't want to keep anymore. But I still
Mm-hmm.
have like I collect a lot of Amazing Spider-Man, so I had all that run still. I collected Deadpool as I got older. I still have that run.
Okay.
So I have most of the stuff. I had a lot more Batman keys at one point, which I sold a lot off, which I wish I had back. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I find it's always the case that you sell them and then they spike.
yeah,
Then they spike.
yep.
It's not the other way around. But yeah, it happens to all of us. So do you consider yourself more of a collector or a dealer or somewhere in between?
I'm definitely not a dealer, even though like I'm actually going to be doing a show next year by me in New Jersey. It's my first show ever.
Hmm.
I'm not a dealer. I'm a collector. I collect like what I like. I collect Amazing Spider-Man. I collect some of the bigger keys now because I was always been a huge Marvel enthusiast. But
Hmm.
I am gonna start letting go some of the other books that I really don't need to be in my collection because I'm trying to fund something even bigger. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, speaking of books in your collection, so I mean, I know you like Amazing Spider-Man. I know you like really Silver Age and Bronze Age, right? That's your kind of
yes,
your primary focus. Um, so how about you show some books? Like,
yeah.
let's get into it. Like, usually it's like I babble, 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 but let's get into the books.
So most of the people watch my channel, they see my background, they see all the slabs that I have
Yeah.
here. So like, and I have a ton of slab, like not a ton, but all the slabs you see behind me is basically my
Mhm.
collection outside of maybe like another 10 in a box somewhere. So that's what you see.
Oh, okay. I like
I
the
do,
actually like the arcade machines. Tell you the truth.
yeah.
Like
I'm a big 80s, early 90s guy. So like comics, cartoons, arcades. What else? Masters of the Universe, toys. I'm into all
Hmm.
that stuff. That's how I grew up. So I've kind of like transitioned to the same thing as I'm an adult. So I don't grow up,
Yeah.
I guess.
I was going to get you to lift up one of the arcade machines and kind of show it to everybody, but
Oh yeah, I don't think I have the strength for that one, but I did a. If anybody wants to take a look, I did do a couple of room tours if they want to check it out on my channel. So
okay, cool, cool. So yeah, so yes, I'll make you big, and then you can show the books.
all right, so I'm warning you guys that my collection is very Amazing Spider-Man heavy because I'm a huge Spidey fan. I have multiple copies of like a lot of books. So first one I'll start with is Amazing Spider-Man number 15, first appearance of Kraven the Hunter. So like I said, I have a raw copy and I also have a graded copy, but um, I collect a lot of Amazing Spider-Man.
That's a great book.
It is.
I was chasing that book for a while, and then finally got it. So happy.
It's a lot of them are tough, especially like when you first get into it. Is a raw Amazing Spider-Man 50. I have a also have a graded copy, but like I said, I try to collect a graded copy and a raw copy. But
Oh,
again, this
nice.
is one of my favorite covers of all time.
Yeah, it's
Ramita
pretty iconic.
Ramita classic cover. The storyline is iconic, and Kipper, of course, is the first Kingpin. So
I'm just going to mute myself. My wife is vacuuming in the background. This is the great things of like my professional like interviewing.
it
You got the
happens.
wife in the background.
I'm surprised people don't hear my kids screaming at certain videos, but it's okay. Fantastic Four number 49, of course, the first appearance of Galactus, second Silver Surfer. I collect a lot of raw books now because I feel like we don't see a lot of Silver Age raw stuff anymore. If you do see it, people buy it and they slab it. So I'm trying to keep these things as raw as possible. It's my only copy of this one for right now. I have a 50 as well. I just picked this up maybe about a couple of months ago. I've had it before in the collection, but again, when I find good keys raw, this is of course third Silver Surfer, the third one in that trilogy. A lot of people hate on this cover, but I actually
I was
kind of
just going
dig
to
it.
ask.
So
I love it, actually. I always like that cover. Even though
so
it's
do I.
brown, I actually
Yeah.
like it.
It's very simple. It's very clean. Like you can't really complain. I love
Yeah.
anything Kirby, but all right, here's another one that I picked up at the first
Oh,
King Khan
nice.
show by me in New Jersey. Got a great deal on this one, but again, you don't see this book raw too often. Was able to snag this one up raw. I used to
Yeah.
have a graded one, but I sold that recently.
That's probably one of the best. To me, that's the best Silver Surfer cover.
I
Um,
agree. I agree,
yeah.
and they're not many. They're not many. I mean, there's the 50, which is great, and this one. I know this is a Fantastic Four book, but anything with the Silver Surfer on it is just like this one is absolutely phenomenal. It's one of my top 10 definitely classic covers of all time. Is one you may not see raw all the time either. Sometimes Amazing Spider-Man
Mhm.
129, First Punisher. This one's actually in really great shape. Maybe to me, I would think this is almost like a 7.5, possibly 8.0. So you don't really see it raw too much. So
Yeah, the
I
yellows are quite bright on that. It's quite
yeah,
nice.
it's a really, really nice copy. I'm hesitant about grading this sucker because it probably would benefit, value wise to get it graded. But again, you don't see them raw, so I just want to keep them that way.
Yeah.
Amazing Spider-Man number 4, another book you don't see raw too often. I have this graded and raw as well.
Hmm.
Again, another
That's another one that is a bit of controversy around it, whether or not people like it or not with the cover.
I was just gonna say the 4 square cover. Some people don't. I mean, I actually love it. Like, look at that.
Yeah.
It's Sandman just over the
Yeah.
Spider-Man right there. Look at that.
It really showcases Sandman. Like,
Uh,
it shows everything he does, and, you kind of get a sense of how, he's actually a pretty hard opponent to fight. You punch right through him, he can bury you in sand. It's like awesome.
Again, I agree. And the reason why I love collecting a Silver Age Amazing Spider-Man is twofold. One, because I'm a huge Spidey guy. Everybody knows that who watches my channel. But if you try to find these books, I think they will, especially raw, like they're so hard to find. They're so hard to find raw. So like for me to find some of this stuff is just like, I don't know. So this one's got a little bit of tape residue, as you can see on the side, but first Doc Ock, really good shape outside of the tape residue. I was actually thinking about trying to get this removed, but
I was wondering if there's a way to remove that. There must be. I mean, some kind of cleaning way where it doesn't damage the book, but can remove it.
somebody gave me some solution that you could use, but I'm afraid to do it. I may send this
Yeah.
off to like a hero restoration where they can try to remove that without it being, come back a restored book, stuff like that.
Hmm.
So that's down the line. Like the people I bought this from had this grade as about a 3.0 with that stain. So God knows what it's
Without
gonna
it,
come
it's
back.
probably like a
E-
4 or 4.5 or
Exactly. It's in really good shape for a Doc Ock book, man.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
That's a great book. That's another one that I never thought I would own, but because it was one where it was just going crazy.
it
There was like
was.
some massive sale for it, and like just it was going crazy that book.
To me, like I love Doc Ock. He's my favorite Spider-Man villain. He gets the Sinister Six together, so he was
Yeah.
always like one of my childhood favorites. So I always gravitate to him.
Hmm.
So again, I found this book for a steal. Um, Amazing Spider-Man 2 first Vulture. It's also the second appearance of Spider-Man. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, the
Well,
third,
third, third, third, yeah.
third. Yeah, third appearance of Spider-Man, which is crazy. And look, just the one thing I noticed about this book, look at the colors, look at the reds on this book. How
Hmm.
much it pops. Like you don't see that much. I actually have a graded copy. It's a little faded. This one is beautiful. So
The thing I like about that book, just hold it for one more sec. The thing that I like about, and it's a complaint that I have about modern books compared to like Silver Age, is if you look, all the buildings, there's like actually a fair number of details in the
yes,
background. You don't see backgrounds anymore. You don't
yeah.
see like these complicated backgrounds. It's just usually like a person standing on the, the cover, and it's very simple.
So
I
let
think
me ask you a
it's
question. Do you
yeah.
collect modern books still or no?
Um, I'm kind of I'm a bit of a sucker for a sexy girl on the cover, so I will
Okay.
buy the sexy girl covers. But yeah, I prefer the older books.
I'm with you. I stopped collecting modern books when they changed the paper. When they went over
Okay.
to that shiny glossy paper, I lost all feel for like original comics for me. So that's why I
Hmm.
only collect silver, bronze, and some copper as well.
Yeah, yeah.
I got to get into gold. I know you're the big gold guy. You're on my channel.
Okay, you brought some gold.
No, I don't have gold. I got to get into gold. I got to
Oh,
get
you got
into
to
it
get
because
into
I,
it.
I know you're the gold, you're the master. So I got to get into some of the stuff that I want, especially Batman keys, gold Batman keys I'm looking for right now. It's
Hmm.
just, they're so expensive, man.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you gotta dip your toes, I think. Like, buy a few. There are books that you can pick up that are under $50 that that are actually kind of cool. It depends on what you find cool, but you can even get like I don't know if you like superhero kind of stuff. You can get like something like Super Snipe, which is a kind of quirky, kind of cool comic from the golden age. $20.
See, that's something definitely gotta do that.
One sec here. I'm gonna mute myself again because I keep on getting calls and stuff during these interviews. One sec. So I'm gonna let you show some more books.
Okay. So here we have Amazing Spider-Man #9. This one's a little bit of rough copy, but again, it's a raw book. So whenever I can find a raw book for undervalue, I do it because, like I said before, I don't know how much longer we're going to see these in the wild. I don't think we're going to get people cracking cases to, know, keep them raw like I would do. This one definitely could use a press, but I'm just going to keep this one raw, so I don't really need to press it right now to send it in. I have Amazing Spider-Man #6, first appearance of the Lizard. Again, another raw copy. I have a graded copy as well. All my big Spidey keys, except for one, Amazing Spider-Man #1 and #14. I have a graded copy and a raw copy. Those two I'm still working on, but the one is just, it's crazy expensive. So for me to buy a raw one, it's just going to be almost impossible. The 14 is still possible. I just haven't found the right copy yet.
I mean, it looks like you have a pretty serious Spider-Man run going there. Like,
Oh, yeah.
how many are you missing? From the top, from the first 20?
I have 1 through 50, multiple copies. I have them all.
You have 1 through 50?
All of them, multiple copies.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice.
I'm
Oh,
still working on 51 to 300. I'm working on that run. I have a lot of them. I'm probably missing maybe about 40, 45 that
okay.
I'm working on. Maybe about 15 out of the 51 to 100. I'm missing about 15 of them. But my thing
Hmm.
about buying, even though I love Silver Age Spider-Man, is like when you get from 51 to 99, there's not too many keys. So like
No,
people
but
want
51 is a key. That'd be
yes, second Kingpin.
yeah,
But
yeah.
like outside of like the minor, like second appearances and stuff like that, there's not too many keys, but they still go for big money. So what I try to do is I try to pick them up in lower grades for deals. So if I could find
Hmm.
like I'm going to show you this book. It's a key. Obviously, it's
Sure.
the first Daredevil in outside of his own title, first in Spider-Man. Like this is a
Yeah.
key. So like now, if you this book was actually recently on the Hot 10 a couple weeks ago, but
Yeah, it's been on the Hot 10 so many times in the last year, I think.
yes. So like I try to find like non-keys and like really lower grades as long as they present well, just to have in the collection. If I can get them for a good deal, I do it. If not, I pass. I just gotta wait for the right copy,
Yeah.
right?
But that's a book that has really spiked actually in terms of price.
It is, and I bought this literally like 4 years ago for like $200.
Okay, not too bad. Not too bad. How
Yeah,
much, what grade is it, would you say?
just I mean, it really needs a cleaning. It's definitely dirty, like
Hmm.
there's this dirt all over the spine. But outside of that, it's probably a good 2.5.
Okay. Okay, that's reasonable.
Yeah,
So you did
definitely you
well.
could see it. It needs a press bad, but like I
Yeah,
said,
yeah,
they stay on my wall. I'm not really gonna worry about pressing them for now, as long as they present all
yeah.
right.
Do you often press your own books?
Yes, so I do press my own books, but I usually wait until I'm going to send something in to be graded to do so, unless something's really bad. Something's really bad that it's really noticeable and I have to do it right away, then I'll do it. Other than that, I don't even bother unless I send it in.
Okay, I was just curious. Do you have more to show?
I actually have about 5 or 6 left. So this is my
Yeah,
last row book.
keep showing stuff.
Um, Another one which I picked up. I think I picked this up for like $400 a couple years back. Now I think this is almost like $1,000 book, which is crazy.
I know that book. Yeah, it's gone totally crazy, and there's
Anything
nothing really behind it right
Exactly.
now.
It's just a Doctor Doom appearance.
Yes.
That's it. So I always talk about on my channel that like obviously this Fantastic Four #5, first Doctor Doom. This is to me the second book. Like a lot of people go to the second appearance or that Doctor Doom Marvel superheroes book. I go to this because it's a Spidey book and it's a crossover. I think this is probably the second book I'd go to. But again,
So
it's
what
really
is that
expensive
Doctor
now.
Doom's second or third appearance or?
I don't know what appearance of Doctor Doom is. I know it's the first crossover with Spidey,
Yeah, yeah.
but that's it. I don't know. I
It'd
don't know if what appearance it is of Doctor Doom.
be pretty early on, I think.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. But yeah, very cool book. Another one. Those last two that you showed were both on my want list. I don't have either of those.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I figured you would have. I know you have some big
No,
ass,
no.
big books.
Yeah, I've been looking for those. Always the price just, it's like one of those things. They're a little high, so it's a little
Exactly.
hard to make the push on it.
You know why? It's because there's two hot characters right now. Doctor Doom and Daredevil are probably the two of the hottest characters right now, like with all the
Yeah,
speculation and stuff.
yeah. So yeah, I've been a little hesitant on buying those two, but
Yeah. All right. So
hopefully.
I also brought my four biggest books.
Okay, cool. That's
All
that's
right.
always great.
So Journey into Mystery, number
Oh,
83.
nice.
It's a 1.0. It's a low grade. I bought this when I first got back into collecting like 5 years ago. It raw. I bought it raw and had it graded. It came back at 1.0. Even though I do think this is probably a 1.5, but they brought it down to a 1.0. But regardless, it's it's the first Thor, so I'm not gonna complain.
Yeah, no, it's a great book.
Tale of Spence 39, first Iron Man.
Wow. Okay.
I actually have a raw copy as well of this one. This is one of my babies, my AF-15 signed
Oh,
by Stan. I've always wanted a Stanley AF-15 signed AF-15. I had another one before this that was a blue label, but I traded it in and got upgraded to this one because I just think this book especially looked great with a yellow label with the yellow
yeah,
Amazing
yeah,
Fantasy, the yellow bubbles. I just think it matched so well.
yeah. No, it's great. I think it's yeah, especially the titles, Amazing Fantasy in yellow. It's like it's perfect for it.
I agree.
And the placement is actually quite good.
It actually, what's
Like
weird
I've
about this
seen it
book?
where it's like across his chest and it really detracts from the picture.
So somebody's like back in the day must have put their name here in pencil, and
Oh, okay.
Stan signed over it. So
Oh,
that
nice.
helped out. That helped out. That
That's
definitely
good.
helped out.
So it's a double signed book.
Yes, one is important, one is not. And my Hulk signed by
Oh,
Stanley as
Hulk.
well.
Oh, wow.
So yeah. For me, like there were two books that I thought that I would love to have Stan's signature on, and this one, and of course Spidey. This one, just hearing the story of how Stan brought this character to life, like that to me, like he had more to do with the Hulk and Spider-Man than I think anybody. So these are the two books that I wanted to have
Nice.
and signed by him.
Yeah, I mean I don't even know how many signed copies of Hulk one with with his signature. I don't think there
I
would be that
I
many.
I know it's a super scarce book even without a signature. So it's
That's
it's
what
the
I'm
most
saying.
yeah, it's the scarcest Marvel book there is, Silver Age. So I don't know. I gotta look that one up. That's a good question.
Yeah, I don't think it's many. I think it's probably like, I think there's like only maybe 1,000 or two on the census altogether. It's not like some of the other books where it's like 10,000 or some crazy number, but
Yeah, I know.
it's a pretty scarce book. That's yeah, big congrats on that one. That's pretty
Thank you.
awesome. I'm a little bit
Thank
jealous on that one. So that's awesome. So what big next book are you kind of chasing after?
So I am looking for a Batman #1. I want a Batman one, but it has to be like a point 0.5 or a restored, like a restored one.
Yeah,
Right
yeah.
now, there's so few many copies. Like I was doing research and Blue Label, there's only 25.5 copies out there that have been graded in the census. 25.
Wow.
And there's a
Wow.
few more that are restored in higher grades, but the higher grade you get, the more expensive they get. And I can't what I can afford is a certain amount. So it's just gonna take me a lot of time to kind of find the right copy and then pull the trigger when I find it.
I actually have a fear about the point fives, and it's kind of a weird fear. What I've noticed lately is people are taking the point fives, cutting them up, and then selling the pages.
You think?
Yeah, I've seen it happen. I've
I
seen
hope
it
not.
happen.
I hope no one would
Yeah,
do that to a Batman #1. That is insane.
it's happening. It's happening already. Like I see pages coming up a lot more nowadays, because you can sell a Batman page, two, three, four, depending on what's on it. Like
Yeah.
5,000 even. I've seen higher than that even.
See, I could see
So
someone, I could see somebody taking like something that's already missing pages, like a book, and doing that.
that's
But if
what
you
I'm
have
saying. A point five. You do that with a point five.
yeah, I mean, there was one on Heritage, a point 0.5 that was complete. It just like the spine was
Yeah,
it was really messed up. So I didn't want to go after that copy. But in hindsight, maybe I should have.
yeah. I always wonder about that. Like where you see these point fives. Oh, you're out of focus.
Trying to get my focus back here. There we go.
Get
There
your
we go.
focus back. But I've seen these point fives where it's a split spine. It's completely split spine, and that's the reason it's a point five. And I always wondered, like you see books where it's taped, and it
Yeah,
gets like a 3.0 or some, but it's taped. I mean, it's still Blue Label because they don't take the tape as being restoration. So if you took a split spine and then just taped it, would that pop the grade up?
I don't know. I mean, to me, if I could find if I could find a complete copy, I don't care. Like if it has tape, I don't care. Whatever, I would buy it if it was affordable. Um, I don't know if they would bump the grade. I don't see why it shouldn't. Like I have a this book, the cover is detached. Like obviously,
Yeah. Oh wait, almost.
it's not totally split. The spine's not split, but it's covered attached, and
Mhm.
it's still a 2.0, which I
Yeah.
don't know. I think a 2.5 is the highest you can get with a detached cover. But don't quote me
Yeah,
on that.
yeah, it's kind of weird. I think it's either a three, like a 3.0, but it has to be really like solid looking. I've
Yeah,
actually seen the weirdest one was I saw a 9.0, okay, and it was detached but green label.
that's crazy. See,
So
I'd rather
you
have the
know,
lower grade.
yeah, yeah, it's one of those weird things. It really, I mean, it looked like a 9.0, but I think it wasn't fully detached. I think it was detached on one staple, and they marked it that way. But you know, it looked amazing.
Yeah.
Just it was green label because of the detached cover. So I've seen them do weird things like that. I don't know. I never know what they're going to do with some books. You know what I mean?
Exactly right. And that's probably why I don't do a lot of submissions because I have like everybody sees like my back, but I have a giant raw wall in front of me that nobody sees. So like
Mhm.
that's why part of the reason why I'm hesitant to send some of the stuff in also.
So is it like this is your man cave, right? This is like
Yeah.
your little
It's like
escape from.
it's like a super small room too. It's
Yeah, yeah.
really
So
small.
that's how my room is. Like my room. is really tiny. But I just stuff everything into it, right? Um, but yeah, so it's like, is it like 10 by 10 kind of size?
It's probably like 12 by 10. Yeah, roughly.
Okay, so not too bad. Like
Yeah.
mine's like 8 by 10, just to give you a
So, yeah.
sense of how
That's
small
really
it is.
small. That's a
Yeah,
little claustrophobic. It's like a big closet.
yeah. But I really laid it out so that I could get everything into it. But yeah, did you plan out your comic room, or did you kind of?
So that's a great question because if you go back and watch some of my early videos when I first get
Mhm,
on YouTube, everything was different. Everything in the room was totally different. I had the couch in
mhm,
here, like a really small couch. I had like cases with like I had like my books on stands. Now, if you
mhm.
look, I put up the wall to kind of give me more space because now I don't have to have these big giant cases anymore. I just put them right flat against the wall. So like everything was different. So I go as like if I don't like something, I'll change it. I get kind of bored
Yeah.
once in a while, so like let's change something. So you see me rearrange stuff.
I
So
mean, you said you only have maybe the slabs on the wall and then a box of comics.
I have
Do you have like? Are you one of those people like that has like a like if you get another book, you sell a book to kind of like keep your numbers down, kind of thing, or?
so the way I have it is my slabs are right here, as you say. I have
Mhm,
my bigger raw keys above me, all in like I have them almost on something similar, they're like on wire shelving, so you could see I
mhm.
could display them as well. And then I have like maybe about 4 or 5 short boxes
Okay,
of comics. So sometimes if it's a big book, like I bought a Doctor Doom FF5 first Doctor Doom, and I had another
nice.
copy, so I sold my other copy and kept this copy. So like I won't always keep multiples if I have a multiple. I don't always if I buy something, I don't always sell something. Only if I need like the money to put towards I want to put something else.
But it's not like you're going to get like some people like me. I'm a hoarder, right? I get like I have like 20, 30,000 comics. I've lost count really,
I
but
can imagine.
you'd never go that way where you have like 1,000 books or two
You
thousand
know,
books.
for me, I one, it's a lot of I don't have the room. That's the first thing. For money wise, like I only want to buy stuff that I really have an attachment to. So the stuff
Okay.
I own, I have attachments to most of it. And sometimes I have to let them go, yes,
Hmm.
but that's it.
But I mean, if you have like the doubles of most of your books, I mean, that's actually pretty great to have those books. Like the ones you
Yeah.
have on your list are great
Yes.
books. You know.
Yes. That's why, like, for me, like Spidey, every time I see even now, like if I see like an Amazing Spider-Man 3,
Hmm.
I'll ask about it just to see what they're asking. Because if it's a good deal, I'll still buy it because
Yeah,
those
yeah,
are my characters, right? So if I can get a good deal on it, I'll still do it. I'll have 3 or 4 copies. I don't care. I'd rather buy the same book over than buy something I'm not attached to.
You know what I think you might be able to do, and this would be kind of a cool thing. I think you could get your Batman one just by taking one 250 and saying, "Hey, look, I'll give you this, you give me that," and
You- You're
I
probably you're
I think
probably right.
people would go for it.
You're not the first person to tell me that, but that's why I also have multiple copies because if that's the case, and I think a lot of dealers, especially if they have a Batman one, it's easier for them to sell some of these other books. And I don't know why I
Yeah.
keep going out of focus here. It's easier for them to buy these other books to sell
Mhm.
these other books because they're not as expensive. I'm sure it's hard to sell a Batman one because not everybody
Yeah.
can go out and buy one.
Well, I've seen some big books just sit. They like people. People want them. I can tell people want those books. Like you'll see like some book, and it's reasonably priced. It's not like some crazy price where it's just sitting on eBay, and it'll sit there for like a year or two, and you'll see like maybe 100 or 200 people are watching it. It's not that they don't want it; it's just that they can't afford it.
Exactly.
And I think the Spider-Man keys, though they actually are pretty expensive, um, they're more accessible.
Hmm,
And so I think I think dealers they know that, and they're willing. I think they'd be willing to do that kind of trade.
I agree.
Do you ever see those Instagram trades where people they show some crazy book and they say we're accepting trades?
Absolutely. So the Grails network right now has a Batman one. It's a 4.0 restored. They're asking
Mm-hmm.
75,000. I'm not sure if
Oh
they'll
wow.
take trades, but I haven't seen a Batman one for trade, but I've seen all these times where trades are possible. They usually want like a bigger amount of like a value if it's a trade. So if the book is
Yeah,
worth
they want a bit of
50,000,
cash.
Yeah,
Is
and then they want
yeah,
more value. So if it's 50,000 cash, they'll want like 60,000 if it's trade.
yeah. I've seen that. Yeah, but like the way I always see it with trades, like with trading with other collectors, you get your yeah, everyone gets the same really
Yes,
at
I
the end of the
agree.
day. But generally the way I see it is this, that like I bought a lot of my books prior to that crazy spike in the comics. Of course, we're kind of coming back down, but
Yeah.
um, I was buying books, almost pennies on the dollar, kind of, that kind of level where some of them had gone up like 10 times. So, I might not have like $1,000 in a book. I might have a couple $100 into that book, but it's worth that $1,000.
It's
So
all about
that's,
timing.
yeah. So my point is that it kind of can help with those kind of trades where you have to sacrifice a little bit of that value. So you never know. I'm
Yeah.
just putting it out there. I'm trying to help you achieve your goal here.
Absolutely. Listen, to me right now, it's about finding the right copy. Once you find the right copy, it's like, all right, that's the one I want. Now we're like, all right, will you take this in trade? Will you take this in cash? I have all options are on the table for me to get one.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like I said before, it's so hard to find that book because there's so few copies out there.
Yeah, yeah. And most people don't want to give them up.
Yeah, that's the next thing.
Yeah, that's like, I'm not even sure. I think there's less than 100 on the census, something like
Is
that.
there? I don't even know. I know
I'm
there's
not even sure.
25 and
It's
a point
something
five.
low. I know it's low. Yeah,
It's crazy. Yeah. So we'll see.
yeah.
If it's meant to
It's a
be,
cool
it's meant to
book.
be.
Yeah, it's a book I've been chasing too. It's one I almost bought a copy, but it was 75,000. It was like a 9.0 restored. I just
That
was like,
that's
I
worth it,
should,
man.
I should have bought it. I keep on kicking myself. And actually, there was another deal that I missed up. Same time period. Somebody had a complete collection of X-Men, like everything, like one all the way to whatever X-Men there are, even like some of the mini series of X-Men, and they wanted $30,000.
Worth it.
And the first 100 books were all
Yeah.
slabbed, and the lowest grade was like a 5.0.
50 just the X-Men one is probably
I
like
know, just X-Men one. It's like,
that's
but at the
crazy.
time, this was 2019. It wasn't, it was,
I know.
debatable at that time, but the price has gone up so much
Yeah.
since then. Oh well, it's one of those things you miss out.
Yeah, I know. I regret a lot of things. Like I've
Yeah.
seen like like when you said like 4 years ago, I've saw Superman ones going for like 20,000 and now like you can get one for like a point five. Somebody I know just bought one for 100,000. So I
Yeah,
mean,
it's
that's
crazy.
crazy. Yeah. It's
Yeah, yeah,
the golden age bigger keys, they don't ever seem to go down. It's always
yeah,
up.
yeah. And I think it's because of that whole supply and demand thing.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's really a seller's market. They know that they can just hold it. You know, they held it for 80 years.
Yeah.
What's two more here? But it's that kind of feeling that you can wait for that buyer to come to you because that buyer's out there. There's enough people out there, and there's not enough books that you can just sit on it until you get the price you want.
Yeah.
And yeah, so usually what I try to do is like, find who has the book and then like, cause a divorce or cause like, trouble in the family so they have to sell the books.
That's the way
But
to do it.
yeah, how to get deals. I'm trying to be educational with every video I make. Um, so like, how did you get into YouTube? How did you like make that transition?
So it's funny because I moved back to where I am now. I grew up here, but I moved back here about 5 years ago. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and the MCU was in full flex. I have two stepsons, and one of them was really into comics and Marvel, still is. But I started to he introduced me to YouTube and watching all the YouTube videos. So like as
Mm-hmm.
I more people I started to watch, I'm like, oh man, I wonder if that's something I could do if I was be good at it. So I started putting out a few videos like unboxings here and there. And if you go back and watch some of my early videos, they were god awful. But some of the books that I was unboxing, though, it's when I got a lot of my big books. So like the crazy stuff coming out when I was doing it, and nobody was watching, of course. But
Yeah, yeah.
I enjoyed getting on the microphone and talking. I enjoyed having conversations with people that I had similar likes than me. We'd go back and forth. So I just enjoyed it. And then as I got doing it, it was like, all right, now let's up the ante. Let's start with like upgrading my microphone. Let's upgrade
Hmm.
some of the other stuff. Let's upgrade my camera. Let me do my editing's gotten a lot better. So like it just let's make the video as best as I possibly can. And that's really where I've gotten today. Like I love the comics, don't get me wrong, but I've also
Hmm.
tried to branch out into other things. This is of course and collectibles. So I try to do other collectible things because I don't just collect comics, but I
Sure.
want I enjoy entertaining. That's the first thing. I enjoy trying
Hmm.
to help anyone who needs help. But the best thing that I love about the YouTube thing is all the people that I've met, including yourself. But like I have talked
Hmm.
to people every day that I would have never met if it wasn't for YouTube. And
That's why I did this too. Like this is my way of like meeting people that actually like the same stuff that I do.
yes,
But I actually, I look at you like I actually, I really do appreciate the quality that you put out in terms of your videos. But you're
thank you.
like, you got the hat, you got the microphone branded, and you got the shirt. I think it's yeah, it's just so awesome. I think
This,
you're living the dream. You're living the YouTube dream.
thank you. This is actually one of two shirts that are allowed right now. I actually have a regular like hat or shirt available at my website, mightycollects.com. If you're
Okay,
interested, support
yeah,
the channel, but not you,
support the
everyone out
channel,
there in the
people.
community. Support the channel. But I try to make a brand out of it. That's all.
Yeah, yeah, no,
It's
no,
about
no. That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it.
yeah.
I really do appreciate that. I actually think it's cool. Like, the one thing I really want, and you already have, is that the avatar. I think that having that cool little cartoony avatar is really awesome. That's. Did
It's
you do
funny.
that yourself, or did you get
No,
somebody?
so I
Yeah.
had somebody do it for me. Who's somebody who recommended them to me, and it took them like a week, and they came up with something. I gave him like some couple of ideas, and then he
Hmm.
came back with this, and I'm like, you know what, that's not bad, and that was
Yeah.
it.
I was actually thinking of running a contest on my channel for creating comic collector geek avatar kind of thing.
That's actually a great idea. Maybe you give something away to the winner.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's a great idea. I love that idea.
Yeah, yeah. There's some pretty talented artists that watch our channels, right? So maybe
Absolutely.
one of them will take pity on me and make something that doesn't make me look too bad. Um, so yeah. So what other things are you working on with your YouTube channel? Like I kind of gave
Um,
a very crappy summary at the beginning of
no,
some of the things you do, but
no.
what other stuff are you doing?
I obviously I do the hot 10 every week that comes out on Thursdays. The
Mhm.
members of the channel get it a bit early. They usually get it on Tuesdays, so they
Oh,
get the
okay.
access to a little early. Um, I
By
do
the
every
way,
week.
just quickly, just on that one point, that is super. Like, if anyone's watching this and doing a YouTube channel, do that. That what you just said. Members get it early.
Yeah.
That is so huge. Like, and that's something every YouTuber should do because then it gives you a reason to become a member of the channel, and it's a good way to generate revenue.
I when I first set up the memberships, I used to do like a monthly newsletter, and I
Hmm.
would give them like 4 to 5 comics a month that I thought they should buy because I think they would
Hmm.
spike in the near future. But I did it for like 8 months, and I ran out of books. I'm like, you know what? I don't want to peddle stuff that I think isn't going to go up. So I
Hmm.
ended that and just said, if you're a member, we get stuff early, and then I will do like a giveaway every once in a while for just channel members. Um, so that's that. But for me, like I do that, like I said, I do the hot 10. I do one video a week about like one character. So like next week's video is
Like a
Daredevil. So
spotlight.
like yeah, like a Daredevil, like the top books I'd want to buy relating to Daredevil. So I'm up to like the
Mhm.
10th or 11th character, but there's so many characters. It'll probably last me a while.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah. I
do
mean, how many characters? There's like thousands of
yeah.
characters in comics. So you're good.
So
You're good for a
I
while.
I do those two videos every week, no matter what, and then I'll try to throw in like an unboxing if I buy something, or maybe a review. I've done some statue reviews that I've given away. I've done um, other collectible reviews, like I do Air Jordan 1 stuff. I do toys. I do statues. So I do those once in a while because they don't seem to get a lot of views because everyone wants the comic stuff.
Everyone wants the comics. Like
Yeah,
it's comics. It's
yeah,
yeah. If you had started out at statues, you would have had that statue audience, or
yeah,
I find that people don't really like the crossover. They don't
yeah.
like when you,
They say
try
it.
your
They
best.
say it hurts the algorithm. So it's true because I'll get like 100
Mhm.
views on a statue, and then I'll get like 1,500 on the hot 10.
Yeah, yeah. It's just not comparable. Yeah.
Yeah. But I do it anyway because I think there are people out there who do both. So like obviously if it's a statue, like a Marvel statue or a DC statue, it's comic related, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you never know, you might get a couple new
Yeah,
people as a result. So,
exactly.
what was going to say? Do you do YouTube Shorts?
Very rarely I
The
do.
YouTube like the short video?
I
Yeah,
do
yeah.
them like I usually take like a video that they've already done like the hot 10 and I'll take like all right, so I'll give like number 8 and I'll make it into a short. Whatever
Oh,
came
okay.
up 8 that week and I'll make it to a short that week. Stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Or if like
yeah.
there's a special announcement, like if we heard something like a Black Panther rumor or something like that, I'll go on short and say, "Hey, this is what's coming, blah 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 blah." That's it.
Yeah, I've heard some really people really getting a lot of success out of shorts. I try to do a few myself, but who has? It's hard to find time to do all these things. But yeah,
It is, and it's not as easy to edit on a phone when you're doing a short as well. Like
yeah, that's
it's
true.
like it's a little hard. So I find
Yeah,
the editing on a computer easier.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I don't edit, so it's equally hard for me.
It's one thing I will say. People don't know out there in the comic collecting community. Like for anybody that does YouTube and does edit, like I had to teach myself so much stuff, and I'm pretty good with
Oh yeah.
tech. But like just from editing to like software to do thumbnails, like all I had to teach myself all that stuff how to do it. It's not easy.
Well, my first videos I actually did edit way back when, but I found for every minute you spend 10 minutes.
Yeah, at least.
You know, and it can be like you spend a few hours and you get the video out, and then gets 5 views. it's
Yeah,
like it's like, and then you do some just some random crappy video that you spend like 2 minutes on, record it and put it out there, gets
and
ten
it's got
thousand views.
yeah.
It's like it's not fair for the amount of work you put into some of the videos.
I've never had like a monstrous video like 10,000. Like my most
Mm-hmm.
successful video right now, and it was like a year ago, is
Mm-hmm.
like at like 7,000 views, but it took like a year and change to get there.
Okay. Yeah, I had my biggest video ever was not on this channel. I had another channel where I was talking more politics and stuff like that, and it got like over maybe 50, 60,000 views.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but yeah,
Is that channel gone or is it still out there?
it's still there, but yeah, I don't tell people about it because yeah, people disagree with me.
I know people are nuts nowadays with the
Yeah,
disagreeing.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, but no, it's cool. I I I enjoy doing this. I do this for fun. So
Yeah.
I think it's cool that you did the statues, and I think it's cool that you do things that you like. Mix it in there, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's
Actually, what I did with the statues was I sent an email out to Diamond Select Toys and I said, listen,
okay.
I'm a small YouTube channel. Like, you guys interested in sending me any of the statues that I could review on the channel?
Oh,
And the guy
nice.
he sent me 4 of them. So I did reviews on each of them and then I gave them away to subscribers of the channel at the end of each video.
See, I'm not the kind of guy that would give them away. I'd be like, oh, thank you.
I just figured it was like get more people to watch. Like
Yeah,
everybody who won one was like ecstatic, but they never got
no,
too
you're a
many
nice
views.
guy. It's like I'm
Yeah.
saying you're a nice guy. I'm a total jerk. I would have totally kept those statues. They would have been like on my wall. I would.
Yeah, they were cheap. They were like $55. They're awesome for 50 something bucks. The quality is amazing. But
Mhm.
if it was like a $700 statue, I'd probably keep it.
Have you had much in terms of those kind of sponsorships where people have kind of
That's the
donated
only
to the
one.
channel?
That's the only one. I
Oh,
wish that's one thing I wish I can get somebody who would like a company to say, you know what, let me go on this guy's channel. We'll give some stuff away. We'll promote the merchandise. I would love that. Because I think that would be the next step on my channel at least to like get
yeah.
like a partner to come in and say, all right, we're doing this for them. Let's go.
I think actually the one I'd recommend, and they seemed like they sponsored me once, but I'm not the best at like promote. Like I'm not a good shill. I guess I'm not. I don't really flog it that well. I don't really go out there. But they did sponsor me once. Was Hip Comic, and they're actually a pretty good company, so that you don't feel bad for like it's not like some weird thing like something where it's totally not related and you gotta like sponsor it and like pretend that you like it or ever
So
used it.
what exactly is it though? I'm not familiar with
Oh,
Hip Comic.
Hip Comic is it's kind of like eBay,
Oh,
but it's just comics. So they have their inventory of comics, and it's a it's a pretty cool site. Actually, it's pretty easy to search, and because it's designed for comics, it's more intuitive than like an eBay to find, for example, Golden Age. You can actually, say that you're looking for Golden Age, and then it'll just show you the Golden Age stuff. Or you can search by whatever you're interested in much easier. So they actually have this cool app where you can actually catalog your entire collection. This is not a hip comics ad, by the way, people. I'm just saying that I
Yeah,
know
I've
the
never.
company. They're actually quite good. So yeah.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, obviously, if I
yeah, I would
use the,
recommend you reach out to them because
I find if
your channel is bigger than mine, so I'm sure
not
that they would, and you're
not by
more
much,
professional than me.
not
So I'm just saying, you're what they're looking for. I'm not.
you're we're about the same subscriber. I maybe have a few hundred more. That's it.
No, no, you're like, aren't you like 3,000?
Yeah. What do you, don't you have over three? I thought I saw you had over
No,
three
no, no.
thousand.
I'm like, well, depending on when people see this, I'm around 2,300.
Oh, I thought you were over three
Yeah,
thousand.
no, I'm a small guy. I'm
I'm
tiny.
at listen, I'm at 3450 as it stands right now. But let me tell you, I grew the fastest from
Mhm.
about 2000 and change till now. That's when I started to
Okay,
go.
well, I hope
So
that happens to me too. So
I hope so too. It'll happen. Trust me, I'm not worried about it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It comes. I mean, I want to get to like 5 and then to 10 and then to 100. I want to be
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Jim. I want to be like Jim Mint.
Yeah, yeah. No, I always joke that I want my acetate cover. That's my goal. Get that big so I can like cut the line, get the acetate cover before anyone else. Be that total jerk.
If I can cut the line to the Batman one, I'll do it.
That's exactly it. No, actually, my goal is like I want to get to that big just so I can do the interviews. I'd like to
Yeah.
have that kind of credibility so that I can interview some kind of cool people that
Yes.
that might not be interested in being interviewed by a smaller channel. So
Let
yeah.
me ask you on that because I think I'm along the same lines. I would love to interview someone as well. But who would be your dream interview in comics related? That's still alive. That's still alive. I'll throw that
So
out
there
there.
was a couple that like the problem is the ones that I really, really wanted have passed away.
Yeah, me too.
Like Stan Lee and Neil Adams, like those two, and George Perez.
Yeah.
Three actually were right up there. And another one that I really would have liked, and these are all people that passed away in the last 3, 4 years, was Ken Bald, just a great golden age artist. And Lily Renee was another one. These are all people that I really would have liked to have met because they're ones that are recently died. They've
Yeah.
recently died, but so it could have happened. But there's I'm not sure who. Maybe the one I'd really like to meet right now is Peach Momoko.
Yeah.
I watched a video where they were showing her doing her art, and it was so fascinating watching her do like like some cover sketch. She just the way that she was adding the colors and stuff. I'm not actually a big Peach Momoko fan, but sometimes I find her stuff is really great. Some
Yeah.
stuff I don't like at all. I just think it's not really that good. But watching her do it, you can actually see that there's some talent there. Like that, not some talent, a lot of talent there. And it's just I'd like to meet her and just chat about how her skill and stuff like that. I just
I
think it'd be
totally
fun.
get it. For me, it's like my favorite artist ever was John Romita, and he's still alive. So
Okay. Yeah,
I
yeah,
doubt
yeah.
I'll ever be able to meet him and have him come on my channel. But Jack
Mm-hmm.
Kirby, Stan Lee, obviously. But the other
Mm-hmm.
person that really stands out to me that is alive that I know who has been interviewed by somebody else in the community is Todd McFarlane.
Yes.
I grew up on Todd, and I've always been infatuated with his artwork. He still does Facebook live shows where he does everything on electronic now, so it's not even a pen and paper
Mm-hmm.
anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
It's still to this day the detail that he puts into some of his sketches off the top of his head. Doesn't have to be like a main character. It's absolutely phenomenal, and to me he's like one of my heroes in this industry. I would love to be able to just have down and have a conversation with
Yeah,
him.
yeah, yeah. He'd be a cool guy to interview. Yeah, yeah, definitely. He should be on the list of anyone
Yeah.
in comic. Like, I think a lot of us, like for me, it was the '90s that really kind of formulated my comic collecting and how I kind of approach comics.
Yes.
So I mean, he is the king of the '90s. Like, I don't know, that almost sounds like a bad thing because I think of the '90s as being super tacky,
Yes,
but he was the artist.
he
And
is.
that was really when he broke out was in the '90s.
And I'm assuming we're probably around the same age. So I think we probably had the same effect on everybody around that age bracket who followed comics at the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, I think so. I think I'm a bit older than you, but
Maybe.
I'm ancient actually.
You
I
look
just
great then if you're ancient. I got to tell you that. Whatever you're
yeah,
doing, keep it up.
yeah, yeah. Probably when this airs, I'll be 50 years old.
Oh, wow.
So yeah,
You're a tad older than me, just a tad.
this a bit, yeah. So yeah. So what I always do is tell people I'm 21 plus.
There
You
you
know,
go.
yeah.
I can drink.
So yeah. So uh, well, just to wrap up, where do you want people to reach out to you? Do you want them to go to your YouTube channel, Instagram? Where else? Where?
I mean, I'm my main platform is YouTube. You can always reach out to me
Mhm.
there. I have a website, mightycollects.com. You can email me there. I have an Instagram, Mighty Comics and Collectibles. So you can always
Mhm.
DM me there as well. You can contact me anywhere. I answer everybody and everyone. So I
Great,
never
great,
leave anybody hanging. So if you have any questions, you have a question about a comic, want to talk, want to do whatever, I'm always available.
cool. All those links will be in the description. So please go over there, subscribe to his channel, and go to his website. DM him, do it all. Like, just contact the guy. He's a great guy. So,
Thank you. Thank you so much, Alan. I really appreciate you
okay,
having me on. This was really fun.
okay. Thanks again. And for anyone watching this video, I recommend not only checking out Mighty Comics, but check out the other interviews. These interview series I've enjoyed it a lot, and I think there's some really great people that I've met along in this journey that you got to check out. So check out all the interviews, and until next time, thanks for watching. Bye.